What a great question. And I feel like it's a question that a ton of people have, but I think people don't ask because they think the answer is just, oh, it's because you're nervous. That's why your body is responding nervously. It's because you're nervous. And yes, that is true. But let me break down what's actually happening, and maybe that'll help in the next time you run into this problem. But also to hopefully make you feel better about the fact that it's a very human response that you're having. So what happens when you get nervous? So we all have probably an understanding of fight or flight. In essence, your body is preparing to have to fight something or run from something. And when you get nervous, your body doesn't know what's causing the nerves. It just knows that something in front of you is making you freak out, and it's needing to get you prepared to deal with it. So whether it's a tiger running after you or an audience full of people, it just knows something is creating this response in your body. And so now it's preparing you for fighting something or running from something. And so some of the things that entails is quickening your breath, because it's going to try to get oxygen to your bloodstream and to your brain faster. So your breath will start to speed up and maybe even get super shallow. You might even find yourself panting, like it's really trying to get oxygen in. Also, your heart rate will speed up. Again, it's preparing you to possibly have to run or fight something. And so we're trying to get blood to your appendages and get blood everywhere so you can do what you need to do. Another thing that will happen, and it especially affects you when you're trying to sing, is your throat widens, your trachea widens to try to get more oxygen in. So it's trying to help you out by widening so we can get more air in. But one of the things that we often do when we are nervous is swallow. And you'll often see like cartoons when like something is scared or afraid of something or getting nervous, they'll do this big swallow, which I can't mimic right now. But that swallow is something that many of us do when we're nervous. And unfortunately, it actually is fighting your ability to take breath in at the same time. So as your trachea is widening to try to get oxygen into your body as quickly as possible, when you swallow, your glottis covers your trachea to try to protect it from anything you're taking down. So when you're swallowing food, when you're swallowing water, when you're swallowing liquids, what have you, your glottis will cover your trachea so that those particles, those foods or what have you, go down into your esophagus, not down your trachea. Because if food goes down your trachea, you're choking. And this is also what happens with water, which is why when you drink water to sing, it takes about 3 to 4 hours for water to go through your bloodstream and get back up to your vocal folds to hydrate your voice. That's another thing altogether. And I've had videos and all sorts of stuff about that. But yeah, water doesn't actually touch your vocal folds or go down your trachea, because if water did, you would be drowning. So what happens is your glottis covers your trachea when you swallow to protect it from whatever you're swallowing. While that's happening, it's also trying to widen to get air in, to get oxygen to your body. So as they're fighting for the same purpose, basically, you get what we all know as a lump in your throat. So on top of all of that, if you're singing, your larynx is below your glottis. It's in your trachea. So now the glottis is covering, so breath isn't really being able to come through. And then your subglottal breath, the breath that comes from your lungs up, is also not stable, because it's preparing you to have to fight or flight. So your breath isn't stable, so therefore your pitch won't be stable. Your vocal folds need stability, need breath stability to be able to vibrate stably, to vibrate naturally, and to vibrate evenly. And that's how we get good pitch. That's how the pitch is correct, and that's how we're able to hit it dead center, is to make sure that the vocal folds are coming together evenly. If they're not, then you know what happens. And so all of that to say, it makes complete sense that when you're nervous and your body's going into fight or flight and doing all those things, that you're unable to control your pitch, and among other things that you're unable to control. What I always tell my students, and what I utilize myself, is to use a slower, deeper breath. Easier said than done, absolutely. This is something I've had to practice. Like, I have to teach my body how to slow breathe. Most of us don't have any reason to practice doing slow breaths outside of meditation and things like that. So when you're already nervous, it's really hard to tell your body, okay, hold on, just take a deep breath. But that is what you have to tell your body, and you have to actually start to initiate that. So I will inhale through my nose slowly and exhale through my mouth slowly. And something I learned as a personal trainer was that slow breath tells your body, tells your nervous system, everything is okay. So when I'm cooling down my clients after a whole workout, we will do very slow breaths, music that is super slow, so the rhythm is very slow, everything that tells your body everything is okay. We are just trying to chill out. And so one of the greatest things you can do to get your body to understand that we are not in a desperate situation is to even manipulate slowing your breath. So taking that slow, deep breath in through your nose and slowly exhaling through your mouth. And I do both because if I just inhale and exhale through my mouth, it kind of tricks my body into thinking we're panting. It'll keep my heart rate up and it'll continue with my speed breathing. And if I try to just use my nose, I'm not going to get enough oxygen in. So my body starts to freak out, and that's a different version of, again, nervousness. So if I do both, I tend to be able to control the breath better. So slow inhale and slow exhale. Yes. And so that's basically my fix for those moments. Now, when you're singing, like let's say you're already in the song, you're already on stage performing, and all of this is happening. Unfortunately, once it's already kicked up, it's kind of hard to shut it down at that moment. It's hard to explain to your brain and your body as you're singing, it's okay, I'm just a little nervous. It doesn't know what that means. So the best thing you can do is find those moments where you have rests. Like let's say you have like a 2-measure rest or even just a 4-beat rest. Wherever you can find a rest, use that moment to take that slow breath. Really take that slow breath. This is why even when I teach songs for my students, a big part of what we learn is where are you breathing? Because we want that breath to be automatic. We want it to be muscle memory by the time you start having to do the song off book and in front of people, because the last thing you want to be figuring out in the moment is how you're breathing. Like we really need that to already be in your body and be a part of the music as much as the notes are a part of your music. So I hope all of this helps, but this is basically so that you can give yourself grace and mercy in those moments, because yeah, you're fighting something that is a biological response that is meant to save you, meant to keep you safe, but unfortunately kind of ruins a performance. And so if you're finding that more often than not, you're going into that fight or flight place every time you go to perform, especially if you are trying to be a performer, or if you're a public speaker or someone like that, this is something that has to be practiced. So when you're in situations where you're not in fight or flight, I would practice breathing. Like you can sit alone in your room, put on some nice chill music, and just practice inhaling slowly and exhaling slowly. Because why else would you ever learn to do that, except if you're doing it on purpose? And so to then expect your body to all of a sudden be able to do that in real time when you're nervous is a lot to ask. So the more you can practice that stuff ahead of time, the more accessible it will be when it's necessary. Yeah, so I hope all of that helps with understanding and with also giving yourself grace. And feel free to ask me more questions. Clearly, I love this stuff and I am a nerd. So I love to dig in and really try to give as easy to understand explanations as possible for some really heady things when it comes to the voice. Yeah, so thank you so much for responding, and thank you for this incredible question, and I hope this helps, and happy singing. Bye.